No, this isn't to say that my parents weren't the same. They were definitely quite similar in some respects, particularly my dad. My dad was he's a very well-read individual, and he taught me a lot of valuable life lessons.
Mm-hmm.
But again, like
It's different
you realize,
perspectives. Yeah.
yeah, that
Different
there's levels to
perspectives.
it, right? Exactly,
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Because
And
we can teach people excellence. We can teach integrity. We can teach honor. We can teach so many other principles, even teamwork. But it depends on
yeah,
where the advice is coming from, right? Like it's all a
yeah,
mixture.
exactly,
You know, I think all of us do.
exactly,
So okay, so
yeah,
this was like the
exactly.
middle school, high school, all the
School, yeah,
sports, leadership, things like that.
yeah, yeah,
And
and
did you have an idea of what you were thinking of doing upon graduating all this?
yeah, absolutely.
What did you
So
want to do?
my thing right out of school was this is probably the most honest interview I could ever give.
Hey
So
man,
I'm
that's what
happy
this
you've
is
asked me
about.
this.
We're talking about the true success, true
Yeah,
fulfillment, you know?
yeah. So right out of college, actually when I was like 16, 17, um, I really, really wanted to get into marketing and
Okay.
advertising. That
Wow.
was just
Okay.
like, that was something I loved. And I was taking one or two classes that were centered around business and how to market a brand in an artistic way, how to express an artistic vision, um, and kind of create an identity and a brand around that type of thinking.
Uh-huh.
I was also very good when it came to art. Well, I wouldn't say very good at it, but somehow everyone that went through my high school ended up getting A stars, like in insane
Yeah.
grades. I wouldn't say I was like the cream of the crop, but I was among the A grades kind of thing. So I knew I was going to get into something creative, something where I can express myself a lot more.
Gotcha.
And then I spoke with my parents at like a parent-teacher meeting. And I remember telling both my parents, listen, like, I think you've heard it all today. Like, I'm creative and I can do this. I want to get into advertising and marketing. And we were sitting in the car. My mum literally laughed. She was just like, "You're not doing that." Like,
You know why I'm laughing,
but,
right? Because I had a similar
yeah,
conversation with my father in high school, going
yeah,
into college.
yeah,
Similar ideas. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And this is
yeah.
something that's common to the African
Community,
parents.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
I,
yeah.
I, I would I would definitely say the Africans and the Asians, the Far East and the Southern Asians. I had Indian and Pakistani friends who kind of went through the same thing. Some of the most creative geniuses you'll ever meet. They're
Yeah.
either musically talented or whatever, but their parents are sending them to be doctors, lawyers,
Hey,
architects,
check
engineers.
this out. So I was like I had made it into Vanderbilt University and other universities in the United States. You know, that's like
Yeah,
top 20 in the United States. I'm
yeah,
looking through the
probably top in the
catalog,
world.
but I'm like 17 years old, right? I don't know
Yeah,
anything about life purpose or anything. So I'm looking through the
yeah,
catalog and I'm like, man, what would I like? You know, I was thinking like
yeah,
that. And so I
yeah.
saw people, sociology. You know what? I want to be a sociology major. My dad was like, what? Sociology? I ain't gonna make no money with that, man.
Yeah.
You know, so and then it was
It's
like
true.
I also had a cousin, my cousin William, who was
Yeah.
in medical school at the time after already having been a pharmacist. It's Nigerian brilliance, you know. We just became a pharmacist and
Typical.
said, oh, you know what?
Typical.
The 100,000 isn't enough for me. I want to become a surgeon. I want to become a doctor. So he went back to medical
Yeah.
school, went to medical school. So, you know, I know where you're coming from on that, and
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of people listening can relate.
Yeah.
So they
No,
said, okay.
absolutely.
So they said, okay, you're talking about this creativity, marketing, advertising stuff. What did they suggest would be a
Yeah.
better route?
Well, I right off the bat, it was like you're already limited with options. And I think, like you said, you're so like accustomed,
yeah.
and we're so used to that type of thing. At the time, one of my eldest cousins was in HBS. My other two cousins had finished in really good IT schools, and my other cousin was a doctor as well. So I mean, like, it was just like,
So engineering,
you're not about,
medicine, law,
yeah,
technology.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So that was like the only options kind of available to me, and I managed to like find a middle ground with my parents, especially because my dad was an architect. I think it was just, all right, cool, let's just get into architecture. I've been on site with him. I understand
Okay.
architecture
There's a
a
little bit
lot
of
and really
creativity
well.
in that, a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's actually a lot. And I think that is something that I loved a lot, and that's something I enjoyed when I was in there. But I think when I got to college, I just didn't thoroughly enjoy it, and I knew it right off the bat. I knew that it's such a time-consuming thing, and I had watched my dad fucking mind my language. I'd watched my dad struggle.
Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
I'd watched my dad struggle like a lot. Like, I mean, you think that being an architect you get paid a lot of money. It's not like that. There's a different face to it that most people don't understand. And I began to pick up on that very quickly in college, but I still continue to do it just to please my parents. Not knowing that really and truly, I had the power, if I really wanted to, just turn around and be like, listen, mom, dad, I've changed my major. This is what I'm doing. Take it or leave it. I'm going to do well.
Yeah.
And I just need you to trust me. And I feel like a lot of us in that position, we don't, maybe it's because we're scared or whatever, and we just don't want to look like disappointment. We have that power in us. It's just, I think whatever we do, we just have to.
Yeah. Go ahead. You're saying we have to.
Yeah, we just have to really go all guns blazing and really succeed as much as we can at it, you know?
Yeah, I think it's partly the youth and inexperience and naivety. Just sometimes young people were just young. You just don't know. When you're in doubt, you don't know these things. Then secondly, I think it's because our parents, and I think it's very important for parents to get out of the mind state. And I think already now at 2020, this is changing with our generation stuff, but get out of the mind state of thinking that a particular career track will define a person's success and wealth and prosperity later in life. Whereas a particular skill set, a particular propensity, a particular attitude or way that you are. I have a little sister that just loves to read and read and read. I know that she's going to do well with something that has to do with that, So we have to start thinking more along the lines of what is this child's blessing or gift that they're growing up with, And I think and it took me about 4 years later after going through college and going through all these challenges, failures. And that's another thing. I think it's important for young people, for us to just cross the sands, and eventually a young person has to just know that, okay, you may need to change, you may need to discover something in your adversity that will bring about your true path, so to say, But it sounds like you were more of a people person with marketing and stuff. Like, it sounds like you were just like the architecture was a little more technical, maybe, no?
Yeah, absolutely. It definitely was. I mean, I'm not to say that I was bad at like math and science. I mean, like, I got by like B's, C's in those classes, but it's not great first and foremost. I mean, I'm getting into a field that is so demanding. Like, I really need to like be top of the class to like really excel in it. And don't get me wrong, actually, for a while, I was doing okay. Like, I was doing okay, and I got by, but it's just, what's for you. And deep down, when you've fallen out of love, like if you've fallen out of love with a girl, she's gonna know.
Yeah.
And and it'll eventually break down. I think after a while, that's what happened with me. And so once I'd finished school, I had started doing a little bit of work with my dad here and there. And like by that stage, I had told him, like, listen, like, I get it, but I don't get it. I don't like it. I don't want much to do with it. There's nothing exciting that wakes me up in the morning and it's just like, yeah, like I want to go and finish that
missing some of that
drawing or that structural drawing.